thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Bob, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. Also posted a link of Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. So we are continuing our run of covering Weapon X. So today we're going to be looking at 75, 76, and 77. We've got this cover here by Barry Windsor Smith. Pretty simple. Just, and I say simple in that there's no background, but this dude really takes the time to draw these knots. A little coloring error there. Just amazing. Barry Windsor Smith is an amazing illustrator. A creative force. I don't know how you wanna, but wow, oh wow. So we continue here with the professor and the doctor here, and the doctor says, "If I knew what you were really up to, Professor, I might be very upset with you." "Possibly," says the professor. "I've helped you create a monster." "No, a monster." And then you can see here, so this is being that he's interrupting him. So as he's trying to talk, Cornelius is interrupting him. So they're both talking at the same time. So it's a mindless murdering animal. And the professor's like, yes, but we can make him behave. And so now we're going to get a flashback of, so this is now, and so now we're getting a flashback here. So I'm gonna kind of not read some of this stuff here. We're just gonna kind of show you. So here's Wolverine here, and everyone's just kind of looking at him, and he goes through the window here. Look at this. So Barry Windsor Smith is one of the people that inspired Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane, and you can see that in all these ticks. Now, stylistically, maybe not so much, but you can definitely see all the ticks that Barry Windsor Smith uses for shading here, and especially like here in the back, just tick, 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 tick. So, all right. And so, Wolverine here, you can see him looking at them, and Cornelius is like, "Logan could have killed us all. I met his eyes for a second, filled with hate and fury, but I couldn't tell if it was some animal bloodlust or the horror we have done to him." Look at this wonderful panel here. Wow. Little dry brush right there. Goodness gracious. And then his life support torn away, he collapsed. Those terrible knives sunk back into his body, and I thanked God for my fortune. So, anyway, so they continue here, speaking here, just the different color of the chords and the stuff, the detail. This is what made this series so amazing, is just Barry Windsor Smith doing this. Look at all the detail he adds here, and then it's okay because he doesn't add any here, but he doesn't have to because he adds so much detail elsewhere. So, anyway, the Cornelius is like, "Should we call the cops?" And the professor's like, "I don't believe police involvement will be necessary. The boys' relatives can be compensated," meaning the guy that they killed. "Secured, let us say." And so, "Doctor, I realize you must be feeling a little estranged from me just now, so perhaps it is time to induct you further into my program." And so here you can see these guys carrying Wolverine here. And I wanted to point this out here. Look at the coloring. As I mentioned before, Barry Windsor Smith colors this himself. You can see that he loves to use white, but also bits of yellow, like randomly. Like there's no reason for that yellow to be there except it's just an artistic choice that he made here. But the professor says, "I will require your explicit trust." Do I have that, Cornelius? As they're working on Wolverine here, I do know there's a lot. Um, and the professor says, "That I will explain. Your trust, Doctor. Offer, and I shall accept." And the doctor is like, "Well, okay then. If you want, I trust you. Thank you for that." And then he's gonna say, "You're welcome, sir." But he speaks over the professor. "Tell me, doctor, are you familiar with the term Homo superior?" Of course, that is what they call mutants. So he deducts here that Wolverine is a mutant. And look at all this crazy, beautiful art here. Um, and the professor says, "Look here, what do you see?" And the doctor says, "What do you think?" "I see a wild beast that was once a man." And wow, beautiful panel here. So he says Logan's a man with his subconscious stripped bare. And so Cornelius says, "Professor, the experiment, the adamantium bonding process, are you saying it mutated Logan into this infernal thing?" And the professor says, "You must understand that this infernal thing is what Logan has always been. A detrimentally violent individual pummeling his way through a purposeful life." I have covered, by the way, Origin 1 and Origin 2. So now this is where now I jump into Weapon X. So I've been sort of covering the beginnings of Wolverine. I have a playlist for both the Origin ones. I will have a playlist for this as well, if you would like to check those out here. So, all right. And so they're going to keep talking. I'm just going to continue here. Look at this. Just beautiful. So we're getting kind of exposition, some stuff that people did not know. Like he was a government agent, which is part of the reason that he was selected, and just how, he'd do things, but he'd always heal. So, all right. And so they're saying the knives is in hand, pure adamantium. And the doctor's like, "Haven't you been listening to me? They're not knives, Cornelius. They're claws," which, of course, Wolverine gets them out here. It's kind of funny. These stories could have been almost wordless. The words, I think, are there to make us slow down, but you could almost just put a few in. So, they call that they need gas here, and suddenly there's this big explosion, and they're like, "Oh my god, oh my god." And so they brought him down. So the professor says, "But your description your earlier description was more apt, perhaps. A mindless murdering animal, I believe you said." And Cornelius says, "Guess so." Look at all this detail there. All right. And nice vertical panels as well. "And this is why I'm depending upon you, good doctor. Logan must be restructured now, trained, then programmed. Can you do this?" And manipulation of the mindless, Dr. Cornelius. And Cornelius says, "Oh, sorry." And the doctor continues, "It's your calling." So they're going to reprogram Wolverine. So now we go to number 76. Wonderful cover. Love the red with just a little bit of this pinkish color there. Absolutely breathtaking cover. I think it was perfectly colored. Barry Windsor Smith is such a good artist. Oh, goodness gracious. And so here we go. Again, I'm not going to read some of these things. We're just kind of, they're basically, as I mentioned before, they're going to reprogram Wolverine here. And look at all this detail, folks. Look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just gonna, because there's so much to see, I just want to give it a second look see here because there's just so much to really each cable here the and so the professor's like, I hope this isn't a waste of my time, Dr. Cornelius. We should have begun reorientation by now. What's the point of this weapon if we can't control him? Um and Cornelius kind of goes back at him and, can you control him somewhat? Here, use this. It's a direct link. And the professor says, can I speak to him, control him? And Cornelius says, suggest perhaps. Control? I don't know. What you'll see on the big screen will be in direct relation to your spoken words. And so the professor says, Logan, you are in my control, Logan. And Cornelius says, yeah, like that, but you shouldn't use his former name, sir. We're trying to eradicate that stuff. And he's like, yes, quite so. He agrees here. Again, look at this. Miss Hines, we'll need an exacting flow of the adrogenics. And so, you see the doctor or the professor. You are a beast. You are an animal born to serve. You have one master, and it is me. You'll do anything I say. And he's like, Professor? Yes, what? We haven't begun, sir. The machine isn't on. And then they stare. She kind of looks down. He's just like, then please get on with it, doctor. So, funny moment. So, all right. So, here we go. They're doing all that stuff. Look at this stuff right here. Kind of sticks in the eyes. And notice how Barry Windsor Smith uses everything. I mean, blue, red, yellow, pink. Oh my goodness gracious. So here we go. And so they're beginning their experiment, and you can see here this zat here, and suddenly this screeching here. The system's being overloaded here. Again, look at all this here. This was so... I was in high school when this issue came out, and it is just something here. And this is like a rib cage here. And this is kind of confusing, even as someone... This is all psychoanalytic, so it's sort of like redoing Wolverine. So this is kind of like, hey, what have you done to me? And he's like, stop it. And it's like, nope, we can't do that here. We're not sending, we're receiving. So this is Wolverine kind of, because this is all a mental stuff they're programming. And so here is Wolverine again. Look at the beautiful vertical panel here. As Logan screams out for pain, and he grabs her, and he's like, you pain me. And they're like, no, please, not me, no sir, no. And so the professor's like, leave that girl alone, leave that girl, you animal, this is your master, you are a beast in my control, he says again and again. Look at the slashes here with the ink pen here. You have no will but to serve me, you have no... And Wolverine tosses her aside here. Stay back. And so these guards look almost Kirby-esque. And so I love this. Almost looks like a question mark. And so they shoot him, probably with some tranquilizers. And so as Logan has the professor, And so they eventually are able to knock him down. And poor Heinz here, she's a bit. And the professor's like, kill him. We must kill Logan now. He's a wild animal. We cannot control him. Give me that gun. I can't do that, sir, says the guy. Professor. And he's like, that beast tried to kill me. Didn't you see? Yes, of course. But you're just in a state of shock right now. That's all. Guard, get some medical staff in here. Yes, sir. And she's like, you know, she's the one that almost got killed at first, but she's doing pretty well. And she goes, doctor, and he pops his claws out here, and then they're like, look at the screen, and of course he's picturing the professor dead. Well, I guess we've all had enough for today. Turn the monitors off, Miss Hines. So Wolverine wants to kill him. And so we're going to go with our last part here, number 77. I absolutely love this. I love the blood, but no dripping, just colored in there. Nice effect. And again, look at the snow, the blue, the little bit of purples, just a hint of purple, not much. He's so good. Look at this. These are all just the shadows just every which way. Oh my goodness gracious. This is just a phenomenal series. More because the story's okay. The story itself is okay, but the freaking art is just amazing. So this chapter is gonna go even quicker. So we see a wolf here, and we see Wolverine, and they're basically going to have wolves attack Wolverine here, and it's very cold. You can see that he is naked. Look at not just this art, look at these colors here. What this guy could do with the colors of newsprint paper is amazing. So these are animals that have been starved. You know, they haven't eaten in 6 days, which, by the way, if you had starving animals, you wouldn't put them together. They'd kill each other. And so they're going to go attack Wolverine. And so he's there. He's not doing anything. They're attacking, but of course, these poor animals are not long for this world. And so here we go. And Wolverine's going to pop his claws. Again, we don't need to read any of this. It's just exposition for what we're covering. And down goes these poor wolves. The way people mistreat animals and use them in experiments, I think is, and I know why Barry Windsor Smith is doing this, but look at the purples being here. Almost looks like it's just beautiful. Just his coloring here. And they're like, can we save the animals? And they're like, nope, I'm enjoying this too much, unfortunately. It's he's gonna end up killing all of them. And look at this, just even on the inside of his arm here that Baron Windsor Smith is showing us. Wow. And so she's just horrified by everything, and the professor is like, wow, this is splendid. Do we have any more? And so they're like, no, and they're like pitting, and Wolverine here roars in there, and the professor is like, wow, this is just amazing. And so he says, bring Logan in, and then the doctor says, cancel that. He says, I'm sorry, I thought we were done for the day. He says, we are then. Leave Logan out for the night, he says. I like the idea of him resting in his own gore. And they're like, it's 15 degrees below zero. That's really cold. And they're like, all the better to toughen him up, huh? You can monitor his healing from here, right? Yes, of course, splendid. then we've accomplished much this day. Good evening to y'all. Good night, Professor. So they're gonna leave Wolverine out for the day, or sorry, for the night, and then the next morning they get him, and he goes, "Wow, this is just amazing." So there we go. Weapon X 75, 76, and 77 from 1991 on Marvel Comics Presents, which featured Weapon X, Barry Windsor Smith, magnum opus. This is just an incredible series. So like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.